Hey guys, it's me, Jaren, back in with another reaction video. First reaction video after a while, really. Hold on, let me check. You guys that have watched my other reaction videos already know I do this. But first reaction video in 3 weeks. Ugh, that's long. That's insanely long, really. First reaction video in 3 weeks. I've been sick for 5 days. I would have made this reaction video a lot longer ago. But Um, I haven't told anybody on the channel this, but I am a big Michael Jordan fan. I think he's the GOAT. He's my second favorite player of all time. The reason why I said second is because the first ever basketball player I was introduced to was Chris Paul, and he's always had this special feeling in my heart. My love for him starting to dwindle down some over the past few years. Every time he loses in the playoffs and how he sort of choked in the 2021 playoffs. But we're not going to talk about that. We're here to talk about why Jordan will always be the GOAT and how no one will surpass him, no matter who they are. Especially this bum right here. LeBum James. That's what me and my brother call him. But let's get right into the video.
That one right there made me the greatest player of all time. That's what I felt. I was just super, super ecstatic to win one for Cleveland because of the 52-year drought. I don't want disrespects Will Chamberlain, Jerry West, all the guys that prior to me, I never had a chance to play against. And then after I stopped, I was like, that one right there made you the greatest player of all time.
I'm not gonna say Jordan was humble, but at the same time, I'm not gonna say like he wasn't. Like he was. He was a player. He was at heart a basketball player. He took the game as serious as it can get. The only other player that I can think who took the game as serious, if not a little bit less serious, was Kobe. Cause if I remember correctly, I don't think Kobe over here punching his teammates in practice. But yeah,
Um, when I hear it, I cringe a little bit because it's a little bit embarrassing because no one knows.
Everyone knows back in 2018, LeBron James had the infamous quote of saying 2016, quote unquote, made him the GOAT in NBA history by beating the Warriors. And
3 championships and you're calling yourself the GOAT. Everyone makes the argument, well, Bill Russell, if we're going off of rings, then Bill Russell should be the GOAT. There was literally only 3 rounds in the playoffs. There was only 3 rounds in the playoffs, and if you won 3 games in the playoffs, where can I get that? And why is it too big for you?
Hell, it's big enough for somebody 600 pounds.
It's big enough for Lizzo.
come back down 3-1. Now, calling yourself the greatest of all time in team sports, it's not really done. Magic didn't do it, Kareem didn't do it, Jordan didn't do it, and in football, someone like Tom Brady also never did it. One,
I mean,
because
because
it's
Tom Brady
disrespectful,
isn't.
and two, because your peers and fans are the ones talking for you and how great you were. And LeBron's theatrics since that moment, since declaring himself the greatest of all time, they don't
Everybody uses the argument that Jordan at 38 is not as good as LeBron at 38. Jordan at 38 was still putting up 20 points per game. No, Jordan at 40 years old was putting up 20 points per game. 20 points per game back then is like 27, 28 now. So just put that into perspective.
gotten worse and more extreme. And after this year's Western Conference
Oh, I
Finals
forgot to like
being
the
swept 4-0 by Denver, the theatrics once again back in full form. As
that
after
side the
losing
backboard
Game 4,
shot.
LeBron James, out of nowhere, hinted at possibly retiring. To anyone who's just a casual NBA fan, they know this statement is a smokescreen.
It literally
to
says
avoid
right
all
here in the
critiques,
description, LeBron
as
is
well
not
as
retiring,
criticism.
pretends to
And
be
even worse
shocked.
than that, it took all the attention, all the praise off the Denver Nuggets who actually won the series.
And
And
won the
LeBron,
chip.
per usual, made himself the storyline and shifted the narrative. Now, most recently, at this year's ESPYs, which I doubt anyone watched because they're just awful, LeBron once again did some self-promotion with some cringe comedy. As he said point blank, NBA fans need to respect him no matter what. And later in the speech, said actually,
Not really. I'm not going to respect a player that team hops with superstars left and right. I'm not going to respect someone who calls himself the GOAT and then gets outscored by his teammates. Nah. Some people really don't like it when I pause the video. Well, it's better than me just letting the video play out and just, in the middle of talking, I just start talking.
he's not retiring and he's coming back. I don't think I know Michael Jordan
Okay.
never pulled that type of stunt, almost begging for attention, begging for respect from the actual fans who watch him play. And to fake retire, to obfuscate criticism, it's one of the lowest things you can do as a professional athlete. For someone of LeBron's stature, it should be beneath him, but unfortunately, it's not. As like we've seen numerous times, as LeBron gets older, his career dwindles.
The reason why Jordan retired is because his dad died. He wanted to play baseball because that's the sport his dad wanted him to play. Jordan didn't do it for publicity. Jordan didn't do it because, because he choked. Because he didn't choke. Jordan did it for his dad. Every reason why LeBron choked, he choked for no reason. And everybody said, and all the LeBron fans said, well, LeBron carried his team to the final, into the 2007 finals. No, he didn't. They made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Then they lost against teams that didn't have a winning record. And his teammates were still, he had like 5 teammates scoring 10 to like 17 points per game. That's not carrying when your team is almost putting up 20 points per game. When you have teammates almost putting 20 points per game and you're only averaging like 25, 27. That's not carrying when you have supporting teammates.
He will quite literally do whatever to take control of the narrative. And I think nowadays, the average person, the average NBA fan, they're recognizing that fact more and more. And for the hardcore NBA fans who pay attention to everything, these constant gimmicks with the media, false narratives, and smokescreens, it's growing very, very tiring. And Clutch Sports, having to control the narrative 24/7, is just unbearable. And one last thing I do want to say, when it comes to LeBron James, really post 2018, a lot of his quotes he has that are hot takes, it's me, and I. What I mean by that
Because he's a
is
narcissist.
someone like Jordan, he was always with the team first and we. Not me, but we.
Because Jordan thrived to make his teammates better. He wanted his teammates to be better. He wanted to have good supporting teammates, which he still didn't have. People say, well, he wasn't winning anything without Pippen. LeBron didn't even make it to the playoffs the first 2 years. Jordan never missed the playoffs anytime. Anytime in his entire career. I'm pretty sure even on the Wizards, he didn't even miss the playoffs. On the Wizards. Like, and you can't even use the argument, well, Jordan was Jordan was trash before Scottie because, his team was literally considered one of the worst, no, the worst team in the NBA. Jordan comes in the cut, leads the team to the playoffs every single year. Every single year. He single-handedly carried his team to the playoffs. Single-handedly. Like,
And I think it's increasingly more obvious LeBron James is so transfixed on his legacy. He'll make these calculated moves that he thinks are genius, but most times backfire and come off as corny. The fake retirement being the corniest of all the moves. And even this year alone, after passing Cream in scoring yet again, LeBron
20
James
years.
declared
About to be
himself
21.
the greatest of all time. Never mind actually losing the game versus the Thunder at home.
Oh, he
And
lost. I forgot he lost the game. You're gonna become the leading scorer of all time, and then lose that game. Jordan could never.
Embarrassing fashion.
Karl Malone could
All he
never.
cared about was the record and the quote-unquote GOAT. In a weird way, the basketball gods had their sense of comedy as well as irony. And looking back at that fake retirement, comparing to Michael Jordan, when he retired in 93, what did he retire after doing? Oh yeah, that was three-peating and beating Phoenix in the finals. His second retirement in 98, what did he do? Once again, three-peated, beating Utah in 98 in Game 6. And of course, in 02, his final retirement at age 40. It wasn't some fake smokescreen, I might retire, I might not. Everyone knew that season for Jordan was his real last
Yeah,
dance.
I mean, he had knee injury.
To
What do you
restate
expect?
myself,
He's 40 years
LeBron's
old.
fake retirement was corny, not needed, and just flat out embarrassing. And one more thing I do want to talk about that
It
has
wasn't
gone
technically wasn't
way
even a full
underreported
season.
is that after Game 4 versus Denver, it was mysteriously leaked to the press LeBron James he might require foot surgery. This right here obviously was another smokescreen to change the narrative and have a built-in excuse. Because weeks earlier, LeBron James himself said the doctor he went to was, quote, the LeBron James of feet, and he wouldn't need surgery. But conveniently, after getting swept and losing, now he might need surgery, and it's on the table.
It's the same thing about
And
him
fast forward
saying
a
he
couple of
broke his
weeks,
hand
and
in
very, very
2018.
quietly, LeBron James, all of a sudden, once again, doesn't need foot surgery. Are you noticing a pattern with LeBron James when he loses? There's some excuse, some caveat, some asterisk that has to be added, as was noted.
All those years,
LeBron
Aaron
James,
Gordon
of
should have
course,
won the
is a
dunk
great
contest.
player, and you
He got
can't
a
deny
chip
that.
now. That's
But
worth
the
more than any
circus
dunk
that follows
contest.
him, the media frenzy, the narratives, 20 years in, it's kind of tiring. I think the average fan is getting annoyed with it. And speaking of annoying, we have LeBron James fans. And recently, I saw one of these tweets from them that was just utterly shameless. As they said, LeBron James, he won 2 times without Wade, 2 without Bosh, 3 without Kyrie, 3 minus Love, and 3 without Anthony Davis. Compared to Jordan, only won 1 playoff game without Scottie Pippen.
You know how dumb that sounds? Every team LeBron won a chip on was a super team, or had a player that outscored him or outplayed him.
This right here, it's like baseline thinking, room temperature IQ type stuff. LeBron in his career has been on 3 different teams, 4 teams if you count Cleveland twice. When you hop the team, conference to conference, have all these all-stars, most likely you're going to get a championship in many different cities. But for Michael Jordan in his career, 15 years, 13 of them were in Chicago, and only 3 of them were minus Scottie Pippen. And where it gets really ridiculous, for Michael Jordan, you're looking at 3 years, his first 3 years in the NBA. Not a prime Jordan, a peak Jordan, but his first 3 seasons, and judging him off that alone. And what fans don't acknowledge, the Bulls team he went to, they were complete garbage. As a year prior, had 27 wins, and the second worst record.
Hold on. Wait a minute. What was the record for the Houston Rockets again? 23 wins? Damn.
In the entire NBA. And looking at Jordan's playoff competition,
They're probably only scoring like 60 points a night, too.
He played the Bucks, a near 60-win team, the Celtics, who won way above 60 wins, and forced Boston again in 1987.
It had Larry Bird.
If you want to get really nitpicky about it, Michael Jordan's first 3 years were more impressive than LeBron's first 3 years. As LeBron
Bro just
James,
screamed at him
his first
dunking
2
on him.
years missed the.
I'm doing something. You do it right now.
Doing something.
I was the one that took him down. You can get him up.
playoffs entirely. A fact no one talks about or wants to acknowledge. And also, one of the just dumb things you can do with this tweet
I gotta go
is
get
acting
some
like
stuff
Scottie
out of the
Pippen
washing
off the
machine.
bat was a Hall of Famer, an All Star, and a superstar. When in reality, he was a bench player and a role player at that. As comparing Jordan versus Pippen, 88-89 in the playoffs, it's pure comedy. As Jordan, in virtually every
And the
category,
best Pippen was
averaged
91
more
Pippen.
than
He
Pippen.
scored 20 points per game.
Points,
Didn't
steals,
outscore
assists,
Jordan.
rebounds, and think
Jordan
better
never
from
averaged less than 15 points per game in the playoffs. And never scored less than 15 points in the playoffs. Heck, he scored 10, 12 points in the fourth quarter alone.
you. Penalizing Jordan for being a loyal teammate to Pippen, loyal to the Bulls, is this weird LeBron James fan thinking, and really
So
2023
being loyal
thinking.
to your team doesn't
As
make you
back
the
in the
GOAT.
90s,
Okay.
someone like Jordan would never join the Knicks, the Lakers, and former super team like LeBron James. And I think that tweet, in a weird way, almost makes LeBron James
Look
kind of look
worse.
worse. As what it shows, in my view, is he can't sustain a team in one place like Jordan did for a decade. What
He
LeBron
ran the
does,
NBA. That's the thing. People were winning championships on LeBron's watch. There was only 2 teams that won a championship while Jordan wasn't there. While in that decade. While in those 8 years that Jordan played, anyways. That was the Houston Rockets and the Houston Rockets again. The second time was because,
he goes to
he wasn't,
teams, gets
in
all stars,
tip-top shape.
kind of uses them up, jumps ship, does the same thing again, and inevitably jump ship again. And having Kyrie, Love, Anthony Davis, Wade, and Bosh, that is a revolving door of superstars that is more than enough help. And the last point I do want to make when it comes to Jordan, in his first championship, that team had no finals experience. Compared to his last championship in 98, that Bulls roster was the oldest champion in NBA history. My point being, Jordan once again could sustain it compared to LeBron James,
Probably
who
would have
has
won
to
in
jump ship.
99 too, to be honest with
So
you.
that right there is the end of the video.
And the only reason Jordan didn't win more championships was because of the management. But I gotta go get some stuff from downstairs. If you guys did enjoy, I will see you guys later. And make sure you watch the video that's gonna pop up here. Well, here. Or you can watch a cooking video that will pop up here. Oh yeah, make sure you subscribe right here. And I will see you guys later.